Right, Rabbi Yisai, we're coming to the end of Hilchos Pesach, Siman Tov Peiches, page Tzadi Gimel. Say there Tfilas Shachris Shal Pesach, the order of Shachris on Pesach. Uboy Gimel Sifim, we have here 3 Sifim, Sif Aleph. Shachris nechnosen the Pesach Knesses. For Shachris, we enter Shul. The Kohen has Zemiras Shal Shachris, one has Psukkah de Zimra, the elongated Zemiras of Shabbos, the longer Psukkah de Zimra of Shabbos. Mispalint for Shachris, when davens Shachris, we go with Mahalal with the complete Halal. Mavarachin, the bracha recited is Likrois Halal. Unlike some who say Ligmoris Halal, some Sfardim say Ligmoris Halal. We say Likrois Halal, which will explain why. The Ein Mafsikin boy, and one only can interrupt, for example, to talk Elo Kaderech Sha'omru B'Kriyashma, only like we know the din is with Shema. The Mishnah says in brachas with regard to Kriyashma, the Emtza Perek Shalom Shoyel B'Shlem Aviv. As the Shulchan Aruch, the top line of page 186 says, and with regard to Shema, Beruchas Kriya Shema, the din is, one's in the middle of Perek, a chapter there, one can initiate greetings to somebody, if it's somebody who is one fears, for example, Shlem Yira, a rabbi, his father is rabbi. With regard to replying, that's more lenient, one can reply to anyone. One can reply to somebody who's a respectful person, who's given him shalom, to that we can even reply to him, but only initiate a greeting to somebody who one fits. But between the various chapters, the person is more lenient, therefore one can initiate a greeting to somebody who's a important, honored person, but one can reply to anybody who wishes him shalom. The remark continues with the brackets here. That this halacha of being mafsik is particularly strict with regards to the first 2 days of Pesach when there's a full halal. However, the days which one doesn't complete the halal, the restrictions are more lenient, similar to meaning the days that we only recite half of halal. In Pesach, a person stopped in the middle of halal for sure, and there was a delay. He paused. Even if it was such a long delay, in that time he could have completed the entire halal from beginning to end. Nevertheless, he continues from the place he stopped. He doesn't have to go back to the beginning. There are other occasions, we'll see, Mishabru is Mitzayin to them, that the person sometimes, if he has a long gap in his davening, and in that time he could have finished the entire davening, and the gap was due to an oinus, meaning the person either at that point couldn't daven, physically his body wasn't clean enough, or the place that he was in wasn't clean enough for him to be able to daven, then those 2 points combined, A, the length of time, and B, the issue involved, the oinus, the problem, means he has to begin from the beginning again. With regards to halal, we say that if a person had a long gap, he needn't go back to the beginning. He can just continue from where he's up to. Let's take a look at the Mishnah Brura in this Sif. Sif Aleph. Back to page Tzadi Gimel. Shachris nechnosen lebeis hakneses. When it comes to Shul, the Kohen has Zemiras Shal Shabbos. One says the Psukkah de Zimra, the elongated Psukkah de Zimra, like on Shabbos, Mishmar Sukkot and Aleph. Hainut, he's referring to him as Moirim, the Kapitel Chtinim, Shoimim Kedim Psukkah de Zimra, which is said before Psukkah de Zimra. It could be here he's referring to parts of davening. Perhaps he's referring to those who say parts of Tehillim, Psukkah de Zimra before Baruch, they say Hoide before Baruch Sha'ama. Any additional kapitlach which are added on Shabbos before Psukkah de Zimra, began Mizmor Shiriyim Shabbos, also Mizmor Shiriyim Shabbos, which we say on Shabbos. We say also the Yom Tov Get Nabi Eku Shabbos. Yom Tov is also known in the Torah as a Shabbos. Chedem Berachas Nishmas with Shabbos. Nishmas is also recited like on Shabbos. Achar Baruch Hu, and after Baruch Hu, Berachas Yetzer Or K'mei B'Chol. If it's a Friday, it's a weekday, one says Yetzer and then Hamei L'Oretz, and if it's Shabbos, one would say Yaakov Yeducha. And of course we know the distinction on Shabbos. One says Shechinad, the Chazal starts Shechinad, and the Yom Tov one starts Hakil. And that's discussed here in Dusha number 2. So cotton base, but going halal is completed on the first 2 days of Pesach. If a person missed that one pasuk, he missed that one word. So he has to go back to the word he missed and complete from then till the end of halal. So halal must be recited in order. The pasuk says, "Mimizrach shemesh ad levoy," from the shining of the sun to its end. So that just like the sun goes in a certain order, never jumps and comes back, so too Hal must be recited in order. And if a person missed a word out, he goes back to that word and continues from that point. Yeah. And then we bring down Dusha number 3 says that when one recites Hal and Yontef in shul, one should sing it and sing it. He brings this down from the Shabru Siman Tovkov Samach Sivkot and Yodalet. In fact, we've had this partially pointed out in Siman Tov Pei Zayin Siftalet on the very same page that we're on. It says that the Tzibor ben Imo b'Brachot Chilav Asoif, on the night of Pesach, one recites Hallel ben Imo with a sweetness to it. And similarly, we had also before in Siman Tov Ein Tes, I think it was Sivkot Tes. He says Haidu ben Nigun ben Ima Sakil, with a song that sounds like a song and it should be pleasantly sung. Likrais Hallel Sivkot Gimel, says the Mishnah Berurah Sivkot Gimel. The bracha one recites is Likrais Hallel, or Likrais Hallel. That's what our bracha, how we say it. That means Shleima Ligmar Hallel, not to say Ligmar Hallel. Shema Yadalik Teva Oyas Achas, because maybe you missed out a word or a letter. Vayish Chashach Bracha Levatara, in which case the bracha would be invalid and wasteful. So therefore, we say Likrais Hallel, so even if a person misses a word or letter out, the bracha won't be invalid. Well, the Shatzian points out here that would imply from this that if a person missed the word out of Hallel, it wouldn't actually affect his entire Hallel. He could still fulfill the mitzvah. And he says perhaps this is going with the opinion in Hilchos Kriyas Megillah, which is Mekel. If a person misses a word out, at least there wouldn't be he wouldn't be a bracha levatala. At least he could fulfill the mitzvah, albeit not properly, but he has fulfilled the mitzvah. Yeah, but never. That doesn't mean that if he did miss a word out, he realizes he missed a word out, he shouldn't go back to that place and continue. Of course he should. The question is only if a person missed a word out, missed out completely, would the whole halal be invalidated? So it appears from this brackets over here where it says likros rather than ligmar, in case a person misses a word out, it shouldn't be a bracha levatala. Yeah, it would sound that the issue is only with regards to being a bracha levatala, not with regards to fulfilling the mitzvah of Hallel. And as we said, the Shatzian says it could be going with the opinion that holds by Megillah, a slight mistake like that wouldn't affect the validity of the entire Hallel. Says the Mishnah Berurah, if in the place they're accustomed to say, they say Ligmar is Hallel, they can keep this minute. In Bala Beis a person comes to shul close to Hallel. It's important that Hallel should be recited with the congregation, with the community, even if it means davening Shacharis afterwards. Provided that he won't miss Man Shema and Man Tefillah. That's number one. Number two is Hallel with the Tzibur, and after that, if necessary, he'll daven, even if it means he'll daven Shacharis afterwards. Yeah. That's discussing if a person is in the middle of Pesukei Zimra and then the community begin Hallel, can he say Hallel with them? And Bishop Berurah says over there that Hallel, on Hallel, that Rish Chodesh Hallel one could actually add inside because it really doesn't actually need a bracha, and therefore the bracha of Pesukei Zimra, the bracha Bosh Oman Yishtabach at the end, sort of can encompass not only Pesukei Zimra but also encompass the Hallel as well. But on Yontef, where the Chiyuv Hallel is obligatory and therefore needs its own bracha, independent, Chilav Asayf, therefore one couldn't say the Kapitlich Tinim in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. Simchat Dalet, Kaderech Shomer b'Kriyas Shema, just like with regard to Kriyas Shema, the Mishnah in Brachos says various ways of answering or initiating this greetings to people, so to applies in Hallel. We could discuss this already in Siman Samach Vov. So the Shulchan Aruch said it depends if one's in the middle of a chapter or between the chapters. What's called the middle of a chapter, what's called between the chapters? It says as follows. These were the chapters begin. Hallelu Avdei Hashem, that's chapter number 1. B'tzeis Yisrael v'Mitzrayim, Leilon Hashem Leilonu, Ahavti, Halos Hashem Kol Goyim, Min HaMeitzar. Now the truth is, as Razak says, Razak calls it Min HaMeitzar in Tchilas HaMizbar, although we think often that Min HaMeitzar is the beginning of a new parak of Tehillim, it's not actually. The capital Tehillim begins Haidu, Elamaschel Hoidu Hashem Kitayv. Actually, it begins at Hoidu. The interesting thing about this is, which I'm just thinking now, is that it would appear from here that to be mafsik between the bracha of Hallel and Haluka Hallel Avdei Hashem is like being mafsik in between a perek, and the din is between a perek, a person can be mafsik, as we've said, even if Adam covered wishes him, greets him, he can respond, so he can initiate shalom to Novid covered and respond to anyone. That would imply even between the bracha and Hallelu Avdei Hashem, which l'chayr is not just an interruption of Bein HaProkim, that would disturb the connection of the bracha to the first perek. I'm surprised that this is considered Bein HaProkim. It's considered an interruption, Bein HaProkim, which has a more lenient situation than Be'emtza perek. Right? The Shulchan Aruch continued that if a person stops in the middle, paused in the middle of Hallel, then even if it's a long pause, he could have finished the entire Hallel in the meantime. Still, the Hallel can be completed. So, if gotten involved, even in the middle of a perek, he stopped. The Shasa, for Shah, and he waited. With the Sosam, the simple reading over here is Mashma, Filu Shah Ba'inus, even if the pause was because of a forced situation. Although in other halachos we see a pause, Machmas Oinus, K'tirigmas Kula, Chayzel Roish, you have to go back to the beginning here. With regard to Hallel, one doesn't have to, but I love some Tachov basic Kotan Tachov Dalet. The Mishnah, okay. Right, says the Shulchan Aruch Sipes. But Hallel, when it comes to Hallel, Afilu Asara Keren Ke'echad, even 10 people can say Hallel together. Now that would seem surprising. I mean, obviously 10 people can say Hallel together. The Chiddush is, even if you want to be from one specific person who's reciting Hallel out, you want his Hallel to be Moitzi you, Shmei Ka'ina, although often we've got a rule that a person can't listen to two sounds at one go, two voices in one go, and therefore perhaps a person who wants to be Yetzer can't be Yetzer because he can't hear that single voice that he's trying to program in to listen to be Yetzer Shmek Aina. Nevertheless, he's Yetzer. Why is this? Says the Mishnah Bruna, even 10 people reading together, and you could also listen to one of those 10 and fulfill your mitzvah of reciting Hallel. Sivkot Ches. So that means even if they are being moitzi other people. I can't hear two sounds. With regard to Kriyas HaTorah, two people reading together, you can't be Yotzer because you can't concentrate on two voices. You can't hear that voice you want to be Yotzer from. Hallel is considered different because it's something which is precious, beloved to a person. From Zichra and Anes, it's a reminder of the Nes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for Klal Yisrael. A person can listen and focus and be Yotzer through listening to one of them to the Hallel. Similarly, for this reason, one or two people, 2 or 3 people saying Kiddush together on a Friday night or Yom Tov. Often on Sukkahs, a number of families in one big Sukkah, and they can all say Kiddush at the same time, and each family member will be out to the Kiddush from his particular father, or the person saying Kiddush for his family. From the Kiddush is also considered a beloved to them. They can focus and listen on the Kiddush being recited by one person, although there's other voices at the same time reciting Kiddush. Nevertheless, it's best not to do this with Kiddush. When you have to be moitzi their families, each family should say Kiddush one after the other. The Dusha note 16 points out over here that although they're saying Hallel is something which is chaviv, because the chaviva seems to be it's beloved because of the fact that to the Nes that happened. The Nes happened on Pesach. The Hallel of Rish Chodesh, it would appear that this thing wouldn't apply. The Hallel of Rish Chodesh is not zeicher the Nes, and therefore one wouldn't be able to Yotzer even if 2 people are saying from somebody is saying Kaddish among others, saying Hallel among others, I should say. With regard to Kiddush, also the question is like, what's special about Kiddush? So Dushu note 17 says the Kiddush is chaviv. He brings from the Chik Yaakov because in Kiddush we mentioned that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us He gave us Shabbos for rest, to enjoy. That element is an element of chavivus, but perhaps it's not the same chavivus as Hallel, and therefore the Achronim will say, with regards to Kiddush, 2 families should not recite Kiddush at the same time, rather one after the other. Sif Gimel. One takes out two Sefer Torah, the Kohen Barishan, the first Sefer Torah, one reads Chamish Gavri, as is the din always on Yom Tov. 5 people are called up. Apart from Yom Kippur is 6, Shabbos is 7, but Yom Tov is 5. The Mosifin, Yom Tov, can you have extra aliyot on Yom Tov, like you can have on Shabbos? So, 2 days actually in Ayin Elbus and Rish Pei Base. 2 opinions over there. Our minig is we don't have Hosafos, we don't add to the 5 on Yom Tov, apart from the Simchas Torah, which is an exception. And where do we read? We read Parshas Boy bin Mishchad Meretz Beretz Mitzrayim Al Tzivoisom, Parshas Boy. Or Mafte Koire B'Sheni Parshas Pinchas. Mafte read from Parshas Pinchas, which is the Korbanos of Yom Tov, Pesach. V'Chodesh Harishon. Mafte B'Yeshua B'Yisahi, and Yeshua we read from B'Yisahi. The Spalin Tfilas Musaf on top of Musaf. Now, at this point, we're going to be stopping saying Mashav HaRuach is coming towards the summer months, and also Merid HaTorah is not recited from this point on. So Shulchan Aruch said, "Ve'emaskin Geshem Mikam Ve'edef." According to Shulchan Aruch, one doesn't say Geshem at all, even in Musaf at all. I love Sivan Kuf Yudalet Sifkim, which is discussed more at length in Sivan Kuf Yudalet. The Ramah there disagrees. The Ramah says that in the Shtila Shmones, the Quiet Shmones, we do still recite Mashav HaRuach. It's only when the Chazan stops saying Mashav HaRuach and he recites, as Amin Gears, we recite Tfilas Tal. From that point on, we don't say Mashav HaRuach. We no longer say Talamata from the beginning of, practically speaking, from the beginning of Chol Hamoed. In the Musaf, the minhag is to say Musaf Hayom, the psukim of the korban itself. We read the various korbanos of the Yom Tov. That's Ashkenazi custom, the Sfadi custom, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't mention on Yom Tov the korbanos, and therefore we'll see. But the other person didn't mention the korbanos, or mentioned the wrong one. But the Yevadah will not have to go back because he has mentioned the fact of bringing Nasav and Akra, we're bringing the korbanos. The Musaf just he hasn't mentioned which of the korbanos are, or that would not be Ma'akev. It would not mean he has to go back. It's a cotton test. Or Mafter Koire, the Mafter reads from Pinchas, Ein Labas and Kuf Lamazayim Shmusi Pot Yudalef, as which psukim in Mafter are Ma'akev. If a person didn't read them, he would have to go back. That's only with regard to the Mafter. With regard to the Kriya, generally speaking on Yom Tov, we have 5 Kruim. Each of the 5 people called up have to have 3 psukim, which are read from these, have to read 3 psukim. So 15 psukim have to be read altogether. Each aliyah has to have at least 3 psukim. And generally speaking, it's not ma'akev. If anything, if provided that was done, it's not ma'akev. But the maftir, psukim and maftir are ma'akev generally. We'll have to look at the halachos there because they mentioned the korbanos. So called Yod Ba'isahi. Yesh Maschilin Vayemi Yeshua Al Amis Kadosh. We actually begin from Vayemi Yeshua El Ha'am in Yeshua rather than from Ba'isahi. The Amaskilin, Shulchan Aruch says one doesn't say Geshem, Mashav Geshem on during the Musaf of first day Pesach. Says the Shulchan Aruch Mishabruas have gotten Yudalef. That's the Mechaber. This is the opinion. The Mechaber to Minig Sfard, which is Minig Sfard. Shafira but Musaf Gufi, even with Musaf itself. Amaskilin Geshem, we don't mention Geshem at all, even the Yochid. The Lozekos or more, therefore, the more adds over here in brackets. The Ayin Elbasim and Kuf Yudalet Sif Gimel. See above in Kuf Yudalet Sif Gimel. The truth is that when it's brackets, it's not even conclusive that it's the Ramah says. So here, the Mishabura says as if the Ramah added those brackets. I'm not sure if that's conclusive. Normally, the Ramah writes Hagah. It's just a bracket. It could be somebody else added it afterwards. It's the value of this actual point is still the same. The Ramah in Hilchos Tefillah, Kuf Yudalet disagrees, as we'll see. The Mishabura continues. The Shama about God, the Ramah says, as he mentions, Ashkenazic custom is Kapoiskim Tzfir who hold that Sibur Maskin Musaf we do still recite Mash Varach during Musaf. Ad Shishmu Shashlech Sibur Ina Maskabit Rosa until you hear the Chazan not reciting it when he repeats Shrin Esther Shachoiz of Kairam, which he repeats aloud. And therefore, also in Pesach Mincha, practically speaking, we don't say Mash Varach for the first time at Mincha. Similarly, a yochid, an individual, we didn't have musaf and until after the chazan already stopped saying Mashav HaRuach. Gam Ken Shuv, they ask Geshem, we won't say Mashav HaRuach anymore. Although he's davening musaf and the Ashkenazim, they do recite Mashav HaRuach in musaf. That's only until the chazan has his announcement. If it's after the chazan has stopped saying Mashav HaRuach, then even if he hasn't done musaf yet, also wouldn't say Mashav HaRuach. You look there, it has discussion and other details about this point here. And also, we say Tfilas Tal. So when the Chazan finishes saying Tfilas Tal, that's when, from that point on, we don't say Mashav HaRuach. But again, the Mechaber holds you don't say at all. Nobody says, even the congregation don't say during the quiet Shemona Musaf. And from this point on, what doesn't say the same Talamata. Practically speaking, it's only relevant on Cholamayit. We don't say the same Talamata, we say the same bracha. But the evidence Shachach Ba'avar, and that was in Kufi times again by Halacha, look in the Halachas of Tefillah with regard somebody forgot and said Talamata when you shouldn't have said it. Then you should know. After Eskima Poskim Adula Poskim agree, they say, listen, true, we don't from this point on we don't say saying Talamata, but you shouldn't announce we're no longer saying the saying Talamata, we're no longer because as if we like pushing away the Geshem intrinsically speaking, rain is video bracha. While Derech Shabbat Chazal say doesn't daven that there's too much rain. Because, so therefore we shouldn't clap as well we shouldn't announce we're no longer saying Talamata. Nevertheless, I think Shenochen is very correct. At least quietly, we should send the word around. Before Ma'ariv on the first night of Chol HaMoed, you should get word out. People should realize not that we don't say the same Talamata anymore. We say the same bracha. Point out the same bracha, positive, same bracha. Because, very simple, simple people, they don't realize they don't say the same bracha anymore. Because at Bashva they know, they hear in the davening, they hear in the Chazor Hashat, they know already from Yontif, they hear the same about Filas Tal, they hear but the same bracha is sort of slipped in the first Ma'ariv of Chol HaMoed, and the person's got other things on his mind, just finished Yontif, he's say out of the Yavoy, he's going back to the week Nishmanes, and he thinks everything's back to normal. It's not. Now it's the same bracha. So you get the message round. Still the next day, but Shachas first day Chol HaMoed Pesach in the morning, they should remind people, until they hear till they've heard the Shliach Tzibur saying the same bracha. People won't know. They'll say saying the same Talamata instead of same bracha, which would risk many brachas lebatala. In the footnote here, really interesting, he writes a suggestion to write down before Yontov on a piece of paper of the same bracha and then put it up on the wall before the Ma'ariv, that prayer, before Ma'ariv davening on first night of Chol HaMoed, and therefore people look up and see this notice, same bracha, and then they'll know from now on we say the same bracha. So it does seem, and the Midbi Halacha says, there will be those who will disagree with this suggestion. They'll say, why putting notes up to say the same bracha? You shouldn't be you never daven. There shouldn't be more. You never daven to stop the amount of rain. So perhaps they'll think also for having this notice to say bracha is also tripping up on that concern. But the Chavetz Chaim says, I'm concerned. I feel like nevertheless, I think she said, that it's better to write this notice. She avoid camera asrias and rather than tens of people, even hundreds of people. They brachas of Atala from reciting brachas of Atala because they don't realize from now on you got to say the same bracha. So it would seem at that time it wasn't so it wasn't so widespread to have like boards as we have, which we have often in front of shul telling everybody what's to say and what not to say, what Sedra it is, saying bracha, saying Talamota, Mashav Ruach, all these things. Seems like they didn't have it, and this is a suggestion of Chavetz Chaim. Although shuls did have various tefillahs on the walls. There's pictures of old shuls, all different types of tefillahs, and boidim, and other tefillahs for Mila, and tefillahs, all sorts of things. It seems this idea seemed to be a new innovation, but Chavetz Chaim stands behind it firmly, so people will make sure to say the same bracha and not the same Talamota. Again, Loima, the Mishra concludes in Cotton Gimel, the custom is to say in Musaf to actually recite the korbanos of the Yom. The Yevid Afim Heliski Yosam Klali also, but Yevid, if you didn't say them, you're still Yotza. And as we said, the minig of the Sfadim is not to say it like the Shulchan Aruch. In Talmud, was often a person made a mistake. A person said the wrong korban. For example, on Sukkot, Shama being written to Chol HaMoed, first in Chol HaMoed, Mash Ein Shach Klal Eis Yom. And he said something which is not applicable at all. First day Sukkot, we have to say in Chutz La'aretz, one says B'Masheli B'Mashlishi, in the Musaf when we recite the Kabbalas, because maybe this is the third day of Pesach, maybe it's the second day, depends on the Sveika D'Yoma. But to say Revi is completely inappropriate. Nevertheless, a person said something which is inappropriate. In Blaisiyah or Bracha, we didn't conclude the Bracha, Mekadesh Yisrael Bazmanim, Yaschil Mepsuki, Kabbalas, he can go back to the Psuk of the Kabbalas and correct himself. If he's completed bracha, doesn't need to go back. Don't forget, Mechaber holds anyway, you don't recite them at all in the Musaf. It's important to remember, especially if you only have Chazan from Eretz Yisrael, very often people can make mistakes in getting in saying the right korbanos, especially on Pesach Chol Hamoed and on Chol Hamoed and on Sukkot Chol Hamoed, I should say, where we have different korbanos every day, especially somebody from Eretz Yisrael, because they are not used to saying two psukim together. They are often keeping a different day of Yontif to the one we are, because they don't keep Sveikat Yoma. If they're keeping the din of Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, etc., one should be mindful of this and be aware that often, especially the first day of Chol Hamoed, the first 2 days of Chol Hamoed, people can make a mistake in this, also on Musaf and Yontif as well. Be aware, make sure that the Chazan says it and gets it right. But if he didn't, he would still be Yaitza. That's what we've seen today. We spoke about Shachris, they're lengthened. We spoke about Zimra. We finished the Hallel. We said Likra is a Hallel. We discussed the person misses a word, I should go back to that word and continue from the word he missed and continue in order. Whether one word is Ma'akav, it could be that it's not Ma'akav, but still we say Likra is not Ligmar in case the person missed it out, it shouldn't be Brachel Matala. With regards to interrupting, the dinner is the same as with Kriyash Ma. I must mention, but nowadays the Paiskim say, Mishbura says in Siman Nun Aleph, that although the Mishnah recites about Prokim, Bem Saperek, Shob, Ne'akovod, Me'yira, Me'kol Adam, etc., the halachas there, but nowadays the etiquette in Shul has changed, and we don't talk at all during Berachos Kriyash Ma. Similarly, during Hallel, one doesn't talk, and the person that I'm speaking to will understand that you're not talking because you're in the middle of saying Hallel. If the person stops in the middle of Hallel, even if it has a long stop, he doesn't have to go back. Even if it's Makamas Oinus, he also doesn't have to go back. One can be Yotza Hallel, even if a number of people are saying Hallel together, one can hear that Hallel and be Yotza, because Shei Koli Lo Mishtamoy doesn't apply with one of them when the one is reciting something which is Chaviv, like Hallel. On Pesach, we discussed the Sefer Torah, the laning, the Maftir, the Haftarah. We call up 5 people to the Torah, and we mentioned about the Bachlokas Mechaber Amar with regards to when one stops saying Mashiv Haruach. According to Mechaber, one doesn't say Mashiv Haruach Musaf at all. According to the Mar, one says Mashiv Haruach until they hear from the Chazan not to say it. And the Ashkenazi custom is, in Musaf, we don't just say Na'aseh v'nekavul bin the Korban Musaf, but rather we actually specify which Korbanos would have been brought today. Rabbi Say, Bimatzliach,